Hi, everybody. Today is Tuesday, June 30th, 2026, and our dear friend Larry Johnson is here with us. Welcome, Actor.
Yeah, I'm like crabgrass. You just can't get rid of me.
Larry, I want to start because right now there is so much conspiracy theories, in my opinion, about the ground invasion of Iran is coming. The United States is preparing a ground invasion because look at what's going on in Iraq. They're preparing for that. Look at what's going on. The latest report on CENTCOM reported that U.S. Navy WASP class amphibious assault ship USS Boxer and San Antonio class amphibious transport dock USS Portland are now operating in the CENTCOM area of responsibility, and they just arrived there. And
Really, they just arrived. They've been there for like 2 months.
yeah, it says they just arrived there. They have arrived from PACOM in the Pacific Com. Yeah.
Well, Indo-PACOM, but okay.
Yeah, it's PACOM. Yeah, and it says that the 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit, consisting of around 2,200 Marines, is on board.
The 11th MEU, right?
Yeah, 11th Marine.
They were deployed last March, for God's sake. What are they talking about? Why are they acting like this is new? Sorry.
I don't know. That's why, there is a lot. I don't know that popular guy that we once talked about his sort of theories. And when it comes to ground invasion,
which popular guy might that be?
That professor, so-called professor.
Oh, that Professor Fraudolinsky. Yes.
Yeah, it's all about the ground invasion. He says that it's coming in March. It's something Donald Trump and the Trump administration is preparing for that.
So it's coming. It's coming in March. Good. Yeah. We only have 10 months to wait.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, okay.
We have to wait for the temperature to get better because they want to get. It's so much propaganda out there about the ground invasion of Iran, Larry. Is there any sort of basis, looking at the situation right now, is there any sort of basis for the ground invasion on the part of the United States right now or anytime soon?
No, zero, zilch, nada. Let's figure out how many languages. What's the word for nothing? Zero in Farsi.
Heech.
Heech. Yeah, so yeah. This is craziness. Look, here is the current status of the U.S. forces. And what people like that silly professor, he has no experience. He never held a clearance. Never been directly involved with watching how the military plans its operations. So 1 week before the invasion or the attack on Iran took place on the 28th of February, the U.S. military activated what are called crisis action teams, CATs. There was a CAT activated at the Pentagon, and off the floor of the National Military Command Center, the NMCC. There was a CAT activated CENTCOM, Central Command. There was a CAT activated, I believe, at Fort Bragg at JSOC headquarters. So it wasn't just in one location. Now, what do these CATs do? They bring together everybody, within a military organization. You will have you have a variety. You have admin, you have intel, you have operations, you have plans, you have logistics. You have, and when it's in a joint environment, it's called the J1. J2 is intelligence. J3 is operations. J4, I think that's logistics. J5 is plans. You got all these, and they all come into a room, and they got computer terminals, and there's television screens on the wall, and they're tracking real world real-time intel, and it may be there are representatives from CIA there are representatives from the National Security Agency there, and there are representatives, may even have representatives from the FBI there. So it's an interagency joint operation, and it's to direct, like it's CENTCOM, it's to direct the forces in the field. All right, they set that up a week before the invasion, and that tells you an invasion is coming, because they've got all this planning to do. They up to this point have been moving forces into the forward. They've been sending, flying F-35s over. They had to fly them on, it's called being ferried. They have to, because they can't just fly direct without being refueled. They got to be refueled along the way. Sometimes they'll fly halfway, land, to sleep overnight, and then get up and finish the flight the next day. Okay. About when the MOU was signed 2 weeks ago. Shortly after that, about a week after that, Pete Hegseth issued an order. Well, actually, when they signed the MOU, they stood the cats across the board, of almost all of them stood down. They no longer were doing 24/7. They weren't doing 7 days a week. They were doing Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. So it's back to sort of normal routine. If you're getting ready to do a ground invasion, you don't do normal routine. You do 24/7, around the clock, ready for that. So that's number one indication. There's no ground war coming. Number two, where are these magical forces being assembled? They're, these soldiers just aren't going to be transported via some Star Trek technology through a portal. They have to be flown to a particular location. They have to be bivouacked in barracks or tents. And so if they've assembled in a certain location, they represent now a big fat target that Iran could bomb the hell out of anytime they wanted. Well, you don't have that. And more specifically, where is this massive ground invasion going to take place? But Karg Island, Kemsh Island, how are they going to get there? I mean, the ship, if the ship sails into the strait, one of those landing craft are going to get blown out of the water. So what, you're going to drop them with parachutes? Then how do you resupply them? Because they're going to need, literally liters of water per soldier. And all of a sudden, you're looking at a massive resupply effort. And how are they going to do that if they're fighting? They got 150,000 inhabitants on Kemsh. What if they're all fighting, a force of, say, 2,000 soldiers? None of this makes sense. But, about 5 days ago, Pete Hegseth signed the order to start withdrawing U.S. forces from the region. So that means ships are going to be, the combat aircraft are being withdrawn, ground troops, the 75th Ranger Battalion, the 82nd Airborne, that's being withdrawn. You got helicopters that were flown over. Those are going to be packed up on some of these aircraft. They're going to be flown out. They are. So the United States, despite claims that they were building up forces, because people saw these airplanes flying in. Well, they weren't flying in new reserves, new forces. They're showing it. They got the Uber call. Hey, Uber, pick us up at the Milwaukee Southie Air Base, and they're flying in to pick them up. Does that help?
Yeah, I think at least for the ground invasion of Iran, at least they need 2 million soldiers.
But again, what's the objective of the ground invasion?
I don't know what is that, because many people are so obsessed with these conspiracy theories that it's gonna come something like it is offensive.
What's their goal? What's the goal? Piss off the Iranians? Okay, yeah, we'll have a small enough force. It's like they've been trying to insert Kurds up north, from Iraq into Iran, and they're getting wiped out. So again, you got to establish if you say the objective is we're going to invade Iran, we're going to defeat the IRGC, we're going to defeat the Artesh, we're going to defeat the militia, we're going to shut it all down. and we're going to take and depose the regime and install a new regime. Okay, if that's your objective, figure out how many soldiers you need to do that. Figure out what sort of lines of communication you need to sustain an offensive attack. And you're, as you pointed out, you're talking millions of men, millions, and we don't have millions.
And it should be 3-1 when you go on offensive.
Oh, at least, 3, 4 to 1. Somewhere in there.
Yeah. Larry, do you think that the situation is right now? We have this Iranian delegation and Americans in Qatar. It seems that the main objective. Today I talked with Marandi. He said on the part of Iranian, the main objective is $6 billion of Iranian frozen assets.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff are there to convince Iranians or to somehow manipulate the money, how they can spend that money. I don't know what is your understanding of that? What was the necessity of Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner being there while they don't have negotiators on the part of Iranians? Foreign minister of Iran is not going to go there. It's the foreign ministry deputy. Yeah, it's something like that is going to Qatar. So there would be no negotiations between the two sides.
Right. Well, there aren't. I'm not sure who Witkoff and Kushner are talking to. I mean, sure, they're probably talking to the Qatar's foreign minister, maybe I guess they call the emir, but it's certainly not talking to Iran. And there's no, Iran's position on Strait of Hormuz is pretty straightforward. There's, not the only people who are confused about it is the United States because they refuse to listen to what Iran says. So,
do you think
nothing's, remember Trump said, "Oh, the Iranians wanted these talks." Sure, they did.
Do you think, in the mind of Washington, the fighting and the confrontation, military confrontation, is somehow disappeared from their calculation, or it's a part of the calculation? It's a part of their calculation about, you have the main problem is the Strait of Hormuz. J.D. Vance today said they're gonna find a solution for the Strait of Hormuz. So is that going to be militarily? Is that going to be politically? Or do you see a combination of both in the Strait of Hormuz?
And who are we talking about?
J.D. Vance. Today, he said
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah, J.D. Vance today said they're going to find a solution for the Strait of Hormuz. My question is that solution a combination of military and political, or is somehow political? And what is your understanding of the solution on the part of Washington today?
So there's no solution. Washington can't do anything to solve it. They have no military option. Their only option is diplomatic, and the diplomatic option, according to the MOU, says what? Paragraph 5. Who's in charge of assuring the safe travel through the Strait of Hormuz? Is it the United States? No. Is it Oman? No. Is it Saudi Arabia? No. Qatar? No. United Arab Emirates? No. On the MOU, there's only one country identified as having control over the Strait of Hormuz to ensure the safe passage of ships, and that is Iran.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, where's the confusion? Just J.D. Vance, pay attention. The Iranians, that agreement in the MOU made it very, very clear that for the next, from 60 days since the signing of that agreement, Iran's not going to charge a toll. And then after 60 days, they're going to charge a toll. And today, Oman just notified the Europeans, we're not going back to the status quo ante. We're going forward. It's going to, there's going to be a fee involved of some sort. And let me give you the precise language here. I'm just looking it up. Upon the signing of this MOU, okay, it's been signed, the Islamic Republic of Iran, nobody else mentioned, the Islamic Republic of Iran will make arrangements using its best efforts for the safe passage of commercial vessels with no charge for 60 days only, from the Persian Gulf to the Sea of Oman and vice versa. So, I mean, it's Iran, you know, Iran's got the U.S. essentially acknowledged Iran's authority. I don't know what J.D. Vance is confused about. There's nothing to negotiate on that, J.D. The negotiation's over. That's been decided. The Islamic Republic of Iran will make the arrangements. And what's their arrangement? They've laid it out in the Persian Gulf Strait Authority protocol. Yay. You want to come through? Fill out an application. I think they've got it online. It can be done electronically. Got to identify your ship, where it's going, what cargo it's carrying. And just as long as you verify that you're not doing anything for Israel and you're not owned by anyone from Israel or anybody supporting Israel, you're good to go. You can go now. So the only ones preventing it from going are in the EU and in the United States.
Who's the priority right now for Israel, Larry, comparing Lebanon and Syria? It seems to me that Syria is the priority for Israel because there is no force in Syria, or somehow Turkey is supporting Syria. That's why they're somehow hawkish about Turkey and their position. And they're attacking. Netanyahu today said, I do everything. I'll do everything to stay in power. He was doing an interview in Hebrew on Israeli media. He basically talked about Erdogan. He said the Ottoman Empire is over. You're not there anymore, and he's prepared to do everything. And
what have you asked yourself? What is it about these Zionists, that they go out of their way to piss off the one country that's providing them their oil? I don't get it. And that Erdogan's proven to be Bibi Netanyahu's bitch. Just tell that Turkish boy to come over here. I need my shoes shined. That's Bibi Netanyahu. Hey, Erdogan, my nose is running. You come over here and wipe my nose for me, will you? That's an order. That's not a request. Erdogan should be embarrassed, humiliated. He is being humiliated by the Israelis.
It's somehow ideological, Larry, because they see on one side the acts of resistance, on the other side they see Muslim Brotherhood as the basis is Turkey and Qatar, and Muslim Brotherhood, and goes to
what does the Muslim Brotherhood have to do with Turkey? I mean, it sounds like Israel's doing one Muslim looks a lot. One Muslim looks like another Muslim. I mean, the Muslim Brotherhood was active out of Egypt.
Yeah,
and then it found safe haven in Saudi Arabia, if I recall. I don't recall Turkey ever playing a major role facilitating the protection of the Muslim Brothers.
But
anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, they supported the government in Egypt, if you remember, during Muslim Brotherhood, and they supported, and that's why it seems that Israel sees Turkey as the main engine of the Muslim Brotherhood, because they say the guy didn't mention the Israeli Minister of Diaspora he didn't mention Egypt. He said Turkey and Qatar. These two countries are behind Muslim Brotherhood, and comes to Syria, then goes to Hamas, all connected.
Yeah. That's their narrative. That's their story. They're going to keep with it. Not true, but who says you have to worry about something being true anymore? That's what people believe based on their own fantasies. They start following that.
In their eyes, there are two options. There are two problems, by the way, in the West Asia. Both of them are of great importance, Iran and Turkey. And the way, I don't know what is the communication between Washington and Benjamin Netanyahu, because this is the recipe for endless war if they want to support Benjamin Netanyahu. Because the next war, Syria, Turkey, Qatar, they already attacked Qatar once, and so those red lines are not there anymore. Saudi Arabia is not that much in their calculation. And this is the way it is. We have to understand their mindset. We have to get, their calculation on their part. This is the reality of, the way that they see the whole region.
You mean Israel?
Israel.
Yeah.
Israel sees two parts, and both problematic for Israel.
Well, Israel, look, Israel wants to exterminate anyone who's not Jewish from the region, from the river to the sea, so to speak. I don't. They haven't changed. It's just the only thing that's changed is that the number, if you will, the Ashkenazi influence in Israel, which used to be, let's call it, more secular, less motivated by Zionism, has been reduced to a minority view anymore. And being reduced to a minority view, you've got the religious zealots have taken over, and they are promoting this very, very Torah-based vision of what makes Israel Israel. So that's the only thing that's changed, is that you've got the non-Ashkenazi within Israel have become the dominant political force.
Yeah. Let me bring something new up from, you remember how, I remember you and I were talking about RFK Jr., Bobby Kennedy, when he was presidential candidate. And here is what he said about the region.
East, there is an ongoing genocide against Jews and Christians in all the nations in the Mideast. In 1948, there was 1 million Jews in the Mideast, in the Arab countries. Today, there's about 15,000 left. 20% of the population was Christian, now it's 5%. In Israel, in contrast, there were 150,000 Palestinians in 1948. Today, there's almost 2 million. They're 20% of the population. If Israel wanted to commit a genocide against Palestinians, it could do it in a minute. It's doing the opposite. The Palestinian population is growing enormously around Israel. There are no Jews in Jordan. There are no Jews in Gaza. The number of Christians in Gaza has dropped by about 80% over the past 10 years. If you want to see where a real genocide is happening, it's not in Israel. It's happening in all the nations around it.
And one of the other things.
Yeah. Well, okay. First of all, how about the Jews that are in Tehran? How about the fact that in Tehran, outside an Armenian church, Christian, there's one of the subway stations in Tehran is dedicated to the Virgin Mary. So this elimination of Christians in the other countries, that's been as much the work of Israel as this has not been directed by Islamic teaching, although that's the propaganda that even Bobby Kennedy here is pushing. It's just nonsensical. The Christian the Christian population that's in the West Bank is under continuing attack by the Zionists, by the settlers. So, just one more lie, mythology, narrative that wants to be pushed to do what? To justify Israel's continued expulsion and genocidal policies.
He didn't mention, he said Jordan and Palestine. He didn't mention in Iraq, there were a lot of Jews in Iraq, but the Israeli, Zionists tried to somehow convince them you have to get out of Iraq or you're going to be bombed. That's the story.
Yeah, exactly right.
The whole region, I think the whole region, Larry, it's an ancient region. It's all about all religions somehow coming from that region, from the West Asia. It goes from Zoroastrians, then go to Christians, Jewish Christians, then Muslims, and they all together. I don't know why they feel that the guy who's Muslim today, who was maybe in 2 centuries before, 5 centuries before, he was Jew. It was something like. This is the problem. They don't understand the complexity of the region. They don't know, because they want to divide the people because of their religion, based